India time, 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here's the news edited by Romesh Puris and read by Tilani Puris. The President says eliminating inefficiency in the public service is one of the key demands placed by the people when they elected him as the head of state. The Prime Minister and the Speaker on discussions conducting Parliament amidst the virus risk. The Minister of Health says COVID-19 vaccination trial a success. Schools except in isolated areas in the Western Province to open tomorrow for students sitting the O-level examination. Sisusariya buses to be deployed from tomorrow. And on international news, the new US President and the British Prime Minister agree to deepen the alliance between their countries. And on sports cricket, Ambuldenia captures 7 wickets, but Root's epic batting continues. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says he would not hesitate to eliminate the alleged corruption in the Customs Department, even by removing all the officers within that. He expressed these views at the Gama Samaga Pilisandara program held in Kalutara. The President stated that a number of steps have already been taken to weed out inefficiency and corruption in the Customs Department. The head of state added that eliminating inefficiency in public service is one of the major demands placed by the people when they elected him as the President. Hence, he is determined to accomplish it despite the obstacles. The Speaker of Parliament, Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena, has called on the Prime Minister, Mahinda Rajapaksa, at his residence in Vijayarama this morning. The Prime Minister and the Speaker have reportedly discussed the commencement of the parliamentary session on February 9th in view of the COVID-19 situation. They had also discussed the proper conduct of Parliament business while being subjected to health safety guidelines. The Education Minister, Professor G.L. Pires, says that the schools in the Western Province, except in isolated police areas, will be reopened from tomorrow for the school children who will be sitting the GC Ordinary Level examination. He said the O-Level examination will be held for 11 days from March 1st, and a total number of 79,000 candidates will face the examination from the Western Province. He said the decision was taken to expedite their missed academic activities. According to the health guidelines, there are 1,576 schools in the Western Province and 900 schools are eligible to open. Furthermore, the Ministry of Education says schools in the Western Province will reopen for all grades in addition to grade 11 prior to the 15th of February. The Sri Lanka Transport Board says Sisusariya buses can be obtained to transport school children tomorrow. The chairman of the SLTB, Kingsley Ranawaka, said a request was made to deploy Sisusariya buses in line with schools reopening tomorrow during a discussion held with the Minister of Education. He noted plans were made to increase the number of buses based on the requirement. He added preparations were made in this regard while schools have been provided with the contact details of depot coordinators in order to obtain Sisusariya buses. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The police have arrested 3,520 individuals, including 1,185 persons, on warrants in a special operation island-wide. The police said the operation was carried out from 11 p.m. yesterday to 2 a.m. this morning with the assistance of around 20,000 policemen covering 490 police areas. 138 suspects were arrested for the possession of heroin, 177 for the possession of cannabis, and 32 individuals for the possession of other drugs. The police added 109 suspects were arrested on various other charges and 503 over suspicions. Police also nabbed 385 persons with illegal liquor and 6 individuals in possession of weapons during the operation. Police said 830 were arrested while under the influence, while 109 cases were filed for driving without a license. Police revealed 64 persons involved in reckless driving and 3,534 were arrested on various other traffic-related charges. Divers of the Sri Lanka Navy are currently monitoring the condition of the cargo ship that had run aground near the Little Bases Reef on the southeast coast of Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka Navy said the monitoring process commenced this morning and the investigations have revealed that the hull of the ship was damaged. The Navy media spokesperson, Captain Indika De Silva, further stated that there is no risk of a fuel leak. The bulk carrier MV Eurosun, en route to Trincomalee from the United Arab Emirates, carrying cement, ran aground at Little Bases Reef off the southeastern coast of the island yesterday. The final rites of the late veteran journalist Edwin Aryadasa will be performed at the Boralla Public Cemetery tomorrow. The remains lie at a private parlour in Boralla till 3:30 p.m. tomorrow for the general public to pay their last respects. The funeral proceedings to be held under the state patronage. On Friday, veteran journalist Kalakirti Edwin Aryadasa passed away at the age of 98. He was a renowned media consultant, newspaper editor, and an author. Edwin Aryadasa initiated the study of mass communication at higher education level in Sri Lanka and formulated the first syllabus of mass communications at the University of Kelaniya. He was also associated with the introduction of media studies at the Open University of Sri Lanka. That ends local news for now.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Ministry of Health says the COVID-19 vaccination trial, which was held yesterday at 3 locations, was a success. The trial was carried out at the Piliyandala Medical Office of Health, the Piliyandala Rural Hospital and the Ragama Teaching Hospital. The trial was carried out to identify practical issues that could arise when the vaccination drive commences and in order to determine the time spent on vaccinating a certain number of individuals. The Deputy Director General of Health Services, Dr. Hemantha Herath, said through yesterday's trial, officials were able to collect several important data. He added the ministry is also in the process of updating and researching methods to efficiently administer, store and distribute the vaccine based on the data obtained during the trial. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And on Watch Light this evening, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has received information regarding several types of financial frauds and scams being operated through social media, internet-based applications and mobile payment applications. Most of these scams are conducted through the web or mobile app-based easy loan schemes that attract the public. During such loan applications evaluation process, the fraudsters entice the public to share confidential personal customer information and data such as debit and credit, internet, mobile banking user ID, password, OTP, etc. The central bank strongly advises the public to be watchful about these frauds and scams and not to share any confidential information and advise to exercise due diligence and care to avoid becoming victims of the scams operating in the guise of money lending businesses. That came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines first. The new US President and British Prime Minister agreed to deepen the alliance between their countries. China flies bombers and fighters near Taiwan. China mine rescue 11 miners brought to surface alive. The new US President Joe Biden and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson have agreed to deepen the alliance between their countries through measures such as tackling climate change and dealing with China. They discuss shared challenges such as fighting climate change and containing the COVID-19 pandemic. The British Premier welcomed US President Biden's announcement that the US would rejoin the Paris Agreement on climate change and the World Health Organization. The two reaffirmed the importance of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization too. Furthermore, they discussed the need for coordination on shared foreign policy priorities, including China and Iran. Taiwan's defense ministry says a total of 13 Chinese military aircraft approached its airspace yesterday. Chinese military planes approached Taiwan's airspace on an almost daily basis, but the number was unusually high on Saturday. The ministry says 8 bombers, 4 fighter jets and another aircraft were observed. Taiwan Central News Agency quotes a military expert as saying China appears to be sending a warning to the new US administration of President Joe Biden. Rescuers in China have freed 11 gold miners who were trapped hundreds of meters underground for 2 weeks. Rescue efforts are continuing to locate another 10 workers still missing inside the mine. The entrance tunnel to the Hushan gold mine in Shandong province collapsed after an explosion on 10th January. A total of 22 miners were trapped in the blast, the cause of which is unknown. At least 1 died, and it is still not known if the remaining 10 are alive underground. Back to the world news headlines. The new US President and British Prime Minister agree to deepen the alliance between their countries. China flies bombers and fighters near Taiwan. China mine rescue, 11 miners brought to surface alive. That ends world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always. All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Continuing with development news, the Manager Air Services and Traffic Rights at the Civil Aviation Authority of Sri Lanka, Ishwar Gunawardena, says that 2 new airlines have begun flights to Sri Lanka while 5 others await approval. He said Ethiopian Airlines and Maldivian Airlines started operations to Sri Lanka last month. Ethiopian Airlines mainly carry cargo and will also bring down UN officials to Sri Lanka, while Maldivian Airlines is currently operating to the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport for ship crew exchanges. CAASL Manager Air Services and Traffic Rights further said that Go Air, an Indian airline, has obtained the license and is yet to start operations. The other airline that awaits approval are Air Falcon, Jazeera Airlines, Jetstar and Sky's Capital Airlines. That was development news. Continuing with sports news, cricket, Ambulideniya captures 7 wickets, but Root's epic batting continues. The latest from the second test in Galle of England tour of Sri Lanka at stumps on day 3 after a fairly even day dominated by 2 men, Joe Root, who again put on a clinic of how to play spin in Asia, and Lasith Ambulideniya, who took 7 wickets out of 9 to keep Sri Lanka slightly ahead of the game. England trailed by 42 runs, with Anderson set to join Leach tomorrow morning for the last wicket. The drama continued with Root being run out for 186 on the penultimate ball of the day by short leg Fernando Judge by the third umpire, where the English skipper was short of his ground. That's sports news, and now we have business news. The State Ministry of Money and Capital Markets and State Enterprise Reforms confirmed serial entrepreneur and Silicon Valley investor Insaf Mohideen has arrived in Sri Lanka for a brief visit under the Investor Bubble scheme. Mohideen is a large-scale investor in the alternate asset classes and has managed sovereign wealth across 4 countries. He is accompanied by Jezri Mohideen, Managing Director and Global Chief Digital Officer at Nomura International PLC. The duo is to discuss investment opportunities pertaining to information, technology, real estate, business turnaround, and capital markets during their stay in the country. That came to you in business news.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We're at the VIP lounge.
LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has requested licensed banks in the country to cut back non-essential expenditure while exercising diligence and prudence when incurring capital expenditure. The CBSL has reassessed the restrictions and on January 19, 2021, permitted licensed banks to pay cash dividends and repatriate profits after completion of the audit of the financial statements for the year 2020. Further, the CBSL said that licensed banks are required to refrain from engaging in share buybacks and increasing non-essential expenditure when incurring capital expenditure until the 30th of June 2021. That was economic news.
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
And now to conclude the weather report, the Department of Meteorology forecasts a few showers in the eastern province today. Furthermore, the Met Department states that showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Sabaragamu province and in the Gaul and Mathura districts this evening. The Meteorology Department requests the general public to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thundershowers. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President says eliminating inefficiency in the public service is one of the key demands placed by the people when they elected him as the head of state. The Prime Minister and the Speaker on discussions conducting Parliament amidst the virus risk. The Minister of Health says COVID-19 vaccination trial a success. Schools except in isolated areas in the Western Province to open tomorrow for students sitting the O-level examination. Sisu Sariya buses to be deployed from tomorrow. And on international news, the new US President and the British Prime Minister agree to deepen the alliance between their countries. And on sports news, cricket, Ambuldenia captures 7 wickets, but Root's epic batting continues. That ends this news broadcast.